Good morning. This is the Great Basin prescribed fire briefing for Friday, February 7th. Looking at the project map, you can see burn projects in the purple. A few very small natural fires, quarter acre type size, 1 acre here in the yellow and red. Sometimes when you're dormant for a few days or a few weeks from precipitation this time of year, February and March, this can indeed happen. How dry has it been? Well, you can see quite dry, bone dry here across the southern third to southern half of the geographic area, but there's a very fine line to the much wetter conditions that we've experienced so far further north as you get into Idaho and Wyoming and far northern Nevada. Our 100-hour fuels reflect that very strong disparity in the dry fuels versus the very moist ones at the 100-hour fuel level. And the flash drought, the traditional drought monitor looks at things over a 12-month period, if not longer. This is over the past 2 months. You can see across the southern half of Nevada and parts of southern Utah and the Arizona Strip, we have the highest levels of drought possible on that index. Looking at our snowpack, and you can see the very low snowpack numbers down in the south and even into central portions of Utah, closer to normal as you head across the northern half of the region. Looking at the upper level map for today, got a low pressure trough moving in, some strong upper level winds. There's some clouds and precipitation in far northern and eastern areas of the Great Basin, and during a windy pattern with a trough low pressure moving in, as you'd expect, the overall ventilation or dispersion index is quite good. Areas mostly in the white. Looking at the transport winds, you can see why very strong transport winds, especially in northern and eastern areas where some of those winds are over 50 or 60 miles an hour. Very good vertical mixing as well in all areas on the right. And still under a trough area, but drier air under the trough as you head into parts of the southern half of the geographic area. But we still have clouds and moisture in the north. You can see the ventilation index on the right-hand side. Transport winds not as strong, and actually some very light winds in the areas of the purple, but the vertical mixing, and it gets better this time of year. As you get into early and mid-February, the daylight is quite a bit longer than it is in December and early January. So you start getting more heating of the ground, you start getting more rising motion. And also in this kind of a trophy pattern, when you're not under high pressure, that helps as well. So we have a dry post-frontal pattern here with a west-northwesterly flow. On Sunday, you can see the transport winds a little bit lower in some of the areas in the red, but still not too bad in most areas. Part of that is due to the very light surface winds where you see the areas in purple, but stronger winds up in Wyoming, parts of Idaho, also in parts of southern Nevada. 3-day precipitation totals will still have about a quarter to a half inch in some areas in the dark green and blue shades, otherwise lighter amounts further to the west. Now on Monday, we stay in this trophy pattern, so the overall dispersion looks pretty good. But this trough starts sharpening up, and one part of that energy drops down to the south on Wednesday, but there's a deeper low and deeper pool of moisture coming in by Wednesday, and by Thursday, this should overspread just about the entire region with increasing clouds and precipitation, typical of what you normally see midwinter, valley rains and mountain snow. So we'll see if this forecast holds up, but overall this is looking pretty good. Strong southerly winds, good ventilation as well. Precipitation days 4 and 5, this will be Monday evening through Wednesday evening, but then days 6 and 7, which will be Wednesday evening through Friday evening, you can see that next storm system. Right now, models are progging widespread, moderate to locally heavy precipitation, especially in the mountain areas. So we'll see how that plays out. 7-day totals. And the 8 to 14-day index does show that wetter than normal pattern across the entire area and much of the west, especially the northern part of our geographic area, along with somewhat cooler than normal temperatures for at least most regions. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day. Next one coming up this Monday.